All right, I've got a question for you today. Have you arrived? And we're going to unpack that, but I want to ask you, where have you arrived in your life? And what do I mean by that? Where have you arrived as far as your business, your relationships, your health, your wellness, your exercise, whatever, those things are in your life, your family life? Where have you arrived? And when we think of that, arrival is like getting to the destination, right? You have some destination, you have some desired peak, some outcome, some destination, and you arrive there and you're like, now I'm here. I've gotten to where I want to be. So let's put that in perspective. Let's go relationship mode. Have you arrived in your relationship? You think about when you start a relationship, when you're pursuing someone, you're doing all the things, right? You're the best version of you. Like, you don't let out farts. Yeah, I went there. Like, you don't go to the bathroom near your person because you're like, oh, I want them to like think of me in the best light. You are like always there for them. You are putting on your best foot forward because you are trying to attract that partner. You like that person. You have a connection with them. You are seeking to attract them. You want to impress them, whatever it is, you want to attract them. So you're working at the beginning of the relationship, like you know what you want. Clearly, you have a feeling and emotion attached to it. And then when you get them, you're in a relationship with a person you've been seeking, and then there's a little bit of a plateau or a drop-off, right? You aren't doing the same things. You aren't showing up with the flowers. You aren't going the extra mile. You aren't writing the sweet, love notes. You aren't necessarily FaceTime or calling at night. And because you get comfortable, you get complacent, you've arrived. Your goal was to get into a relationship, or let's say marry. Let's say your goal was to marry someone, and boom, you get married and it's the best day of your life. Let's not make the actual wedding day the best day of our life. Let's make that the beginning of a beautiful relationship and marriage, right? If it's just like, if your goal is, I want to be married to the man or woman of my dreams, and then you do that, you've arrived, right? What's next? What's after that? You've already made it. You're no longer hungry. You're no longer doing the things that led you to that point that got you there. So let's all evaluate, myself included. Where have we arrived in a relationship? Where have we arrived? Am I still doing the things in the beginning when I was smitten over Sandy? I'm still smitten over Sandy. But am I still doing the things to try to attract Sandy before we were dating, before all of that? Do I still do those things? I like to think I do. I like to think I work on it. I'm definitely not perfect. But I think if we treat our whole relationship like the beginning of our relationship, there will be no end to the relationship, right? Who said that? I heard Tony Robbins or someone said that. It's like when a relationship ends, imagine if you treated the whole time like the beginning of the relationship. Would it have ended? Who knows? Everyone has their differences, but maybe not. Probably not, if you're meant to be. So this concept of arrival, it's almost like it's this tough thing because it's so comfortable to arrive. It's like, I've arrived at my vacation destination. Let me just chill and hang out here. But after vacation, you're like a week, 10 days in, you almost can't wait to get home and back to your routine and back to the hustle bustle, back to the family life, back to whatever it is. It's like, we can't be on vacation forever. We can't arrive. And this idea came up from, so that first thing, evaluate your relationship today. Where have you arrived? What can you do? How can you act like the beginning of your relationship? Then let's move to business or career. Have you arrived? We were on a business coaching call earlier today, and this sparked this idea in my brain to do even this episode, because I realized we were kind of on a group coaching call and this concept came up, and I realized it reflected on myself and Sandy too. It's like we set out and we had huge goals in our business and we hit them. We arrived at them. And then when you get there, you no longer have this clear vision or drive to like, okay, where am I going next? I'm already here. Everyone else, yeah, you go for your goals. I've already hit mine. I've arrived at mine. That's a dangerous place to be. Now, there's definitely something about celebrating and relishing in the moment. But if you have a business or a career, do you feel like you've arrived? Because arrival turns into complacency. It's like, oh, I'm here. I made it. I remember when I first started my career and I set out to make 6 figures in my finance job, and I arrived. And then it was like, okay, where do I go from here? When you lack clarity and vision for where you're going, when you arrive at your destination, there's nowhere else to go. So it's really, we realize, like I'm realizing about humans, it's this always ever growing, ever climbing nature journey of life, right? We've never arrived. And as much as there's a struggle in never arriving and needing to keep climbing the ladder and keep going through failure and rejection and triumphs and wins and losses, that's what builds us, right? That's what builds our life, our body of work, our character. So in your business or your career, ask yourself, have you arrived? Or are you hungry? Do you have that insatiable appetite for where you're going? Do you know where you're going next? Do you know why you're doing it? Do you know what you want? How clear are you on that? I think that's what I'm thinking about today. So let's look at all portions of our life. You know what? I have one more thing. Your health, your fitness, your overall well-being. Have you arrived? I got to a place where I was like, I've learned enough about health. I know a lot about health. I used to be, insatiable about, I keep using that word, but about learning about health and wellness and how do I thrive in my physical body? How do I maximize my potential through my body, my brain, everything? And I realized well-being was a big part of that. Health is wealth, right? But then I learned so much and I had this arrival place, like I don't need to learn more. And now I'm like, gosh, I gotta get back to that. Like there's more to learn, keep going. So in all these different areas that you care about in your life, family, love, relationships, marriage, career, business, health, finances, we didn't even touch on that. Have you arrived there? Most of us are probably like, heck no, I got way more to go. Some people maybe. And if you have, how long have you been hanging out there? How long have you kind of been plateaued, stagnant there? Because eventually when we've arrived, we start to regress, we start to go backwards. So let's all evaluate, where have we arrived in our lives and what can we do to be new again, to be a beginner again, to go learn, to have that insatiable appetite towards where we're going, have that vision for where we're going, set new heights. Matthew McConaughey said, I'm always competing not with other people, but with who I can be 10 years from now. I feel like that's my new goal, my new motto. Like, who is Wade 10 years from now? And if I'm always competing with that person, I'll never arrive. And I'll keep growing and learning. That's a wrap for today. Catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend.